Jacob tossed off the blanket, ran to the window, and threw it open. And there she was, Amelia Gray. She pushed herself through the window and threw her arms around Jacob's neck. "Jacob," she said, her voice full of pain and concern. "I'm so sorry." Jacob froze for a moment, unsure if he was actually awake, until the cool night air whispered through Amelia's hair, carrying with it the soft scent of lilacs. "Emmy?" he whispered, wrapping his arms around her. She felt warm and incredibly real. She pulled away to look him in the eye. "I came as soon as I heard everything that happened. Are you all right?" Jacob reached up and touched Amelia's face, brushing a strand of long black hair from her forehead. "You're here?" His voice sounded raw. "Are you really here?" "I'm really here," Amelia said. "I came back for you. I promised I would. Jacob, I'm sorry." He pulled her into his arms and buried his face in her hair, trying hard to remember how to breathe. She hadn't changed that much. Her hair was long and black, and her eyes were misty gray. She was taller now, but still her. Still perfect. "Are you okay?" Amelia whispered. "I'm fine." Jacob pulled away and ran a hand through his hair, trying to stop his head from spinning. "I think I might be in shock or something. I'm so used to Jim being gone. I guess I just don't understand that he isn't coming back. Is that weird?" "I don't think so." "How did you know?" Jacob asked. "How did you know about Jim so fast? I mean, I only found out this morning." "I know, and I know this is an awful time, but I had to come now before it was too late." "He's dead. I don't think there's really a time crunch," Jacob said with a hoarse laugh. The laugh caught in his throat and turned unexpectedly into a sob. He tried to breathe, but it only made the sobs louder. Amelia pulled him over to the bed and curled up in the corner, putting Jacob's head on her shoulder. Jacob didn't know how long he had cried, but he hurt everywhere. He hurt like he had run a marathon. His throat was dry, and his eyes stung. He stayed sitting next to Amelia on the bed. She had held him as he cried for losing the father who was never there. As Amelia reached up to wipe a tear from his cheek, he vowed he would never cry for Jim again. It was over. Jim was gone. Jacob took a deep breath. "Thank you." He looked down at Amelia's hand holding his. "I'm so sorry, but we can't stay here." She silenced Jacob's protest. "I didn't come here because of your father. I came to get you, just like I promised I would." "It's time now," she said slowly. "I am so sorry about Jim, but I need you to come with me." Something wasn't right. Amelia was here in his room. They were together, but she looked worried, almost frightened. "I came because of what happened at your school. What you did to your school." Jacob shook his head as her words sank in. "Is that what the police are saying?" "I was with Principal McManus when it happened. It wasn't me." Panic crept into his chest. He looked around his bedroom, sure the police were going to break in at any moment to arrest him. "The police think it was some sort of terrorist attack. I love how they can invent logical explanations for just about anything." Amelia pulled Jacob back when he started toward the window to look for police cars. "They don't suspect you at all." Jacob searched Amelia's eyes, unsure if he should be relieved or more afraid. Who else but the police would come for him? "But we know you did it," Amelia said. "You broke all those windows. Well, every piece of glass in the building, actually." "What do you mean I broke the windows?" "Jacob, you are special. Different, like me. You have abilities you don't understand, but when you're upset?" "What are you talking about?" "Magic, Jacob. Wizardry, sorcery, maleficium, whatever you want to call it. I'm a witch, you're a wizard, and we need to get out of here." Jacob stared at Amelia. He ran his hand over her cheek. She grabbed his hand. "Jacob, I'm real, and this is real. There is a whole world out there, a magical world, but you have to decide right now if you want to be a part of it. There are things in my world that are beyond your imagination, but if you come with me, you can never go back to being normal. You can never come back here." "Emmy," Jacob shook his head, "this is crazy." She brought his hand between them. It was covered in small cuts from shards of McManus's mug. His hand warmed in her grasp, not unpleasantly so, but as though it were submerged in warm water. Then his skin tingled and stung. The places where the skin had been broken became almost iridescent. Finally, the glow subsided, and the cuts started to fade. After a few seconds, his hand had completely healed. "It is real." Amelia stared into Jacob's eyes. "Will you come with me?" Jacob couldn't think beyond Amelia's return. He was tired, and his brain felt fuzzy. His school was wrecked. His father was dead. He wanted to be angry with Amelia, to shake her for making him even more confused, to yell at her for disappearing for 4 years, and for clearly having left out some very important details in the course of their friendship. He didn't understand what was happening. Amelia's hands were so delicate in his. He would do anything to keep her from disappearing again. He would follow Amelia Gray to the ends of the earth. "Do I need to pack anything?" he asked. "Only if you want to." Amelia gave him a hard, serious look. "Jacob, are you sure this is what you want?" "Yes." Amelia offered to help him pack, but there wasn't very much Jacob wanted to take with him. He already had everything important packed in a box under his bed. Pictures of his parents, a book his mother had written her name in, all of the notes his father had left on the kitchen table every time he went out of town. Jacob kept the box packed in case a social worker came for him. All he had to do was throw some clothes into a bag, and he was ready to go. He turned off the lights and walked out the front door. He hesitated with the key in his hand for a moment before leaving it in the lock. Under the street light, a very shiny black car waited for them. Jacob didn't look back as he walked to the car. He didn't need to. There was nothing left for him there.